Alright, I'll try to do a quick rundown of the veggie system in my 2002 Sprinter. And it starts here with a heated fuel tank. It's a poly tank with an aluminum coil inside that runs coolant through to heat it up. The fuel comes out through a 3/8 inch hose up here and goes to this water separator filter and then this 2-micron filter. Comes out of that filter and goes down to the Raptor pump. The Raptor pump is adjustable. I don't know what level, what the pressure coming out of it is right now. I set it up very high at some point, and then it blew the fittings off of the low pressure pump at the front of the vehicle, so I had to dial it down after that. But it just needs to be high enough to deliver the fuel up to the low pressure pump, I guess. So it seems to be it seems to have done well for years. After it goes out of the pump, it goes into a rigged up hose-in hose. That's a 3/8 inch aluminum tubing with running through 5/8 inch heater hose. And so I've got the 30R7 3/8 inch fuel hoses going into that, and then it goes through the aluminum, goes under the van, underneath the van, up to here, where the next place it comes out. It comes out of the hose-in hose and goes here into the 30 plate. I think it's 30 plate. Actually, maybe it's 26 plate nickel braze flat plate heat exchanger. Comes out of there, goes into, this is actually a 3/8 inch hose. This goes into a temperature sensor that sends the temperature to the fuel gauge, fuel temperature gauge under the hood. Then it goes into this here, which is just an inline filter. And down there, probably really hard to see, but that's a hydroforce valve. So that's the switch over for the fuel supply. Comes out of here into this. This is just a DIY electric inline heater that I tried doing. It's just a 3/8 inch aluminum tube wrapped with a coil of injection line heaters wrapped around it, just a heating wire wrapped around it. It doesn't really do much. It didn't have the effect I was hoping for, but it was worth a try. I actually used to have a veg therm in here before I kind of revamped the system, and the veg therm put out a lot of heat, but it also created a lot of debris, and that might have been part of my problem. So after it comes out of this little DIY hookup, this is only on when it's running veggie, by the way. So when it comes out of there, it goes into this 3/8 inch hose, which then has a fitting that connects to the tip of a nylon, which is a nylon fuel line, which then connects to the low pressure pump. And then that's that. But the fuel return looks like this. Comes off the engine over here, right here, goes into another hydroforce valve, and it either does a looped return. Oh, sorry, the looped return is up here. Either does a loop return over here and goes back to the tank, or I can send it back to, it can either loop the return down here, or it can go back to the tank. And right now it's set to go back to the tank. I've tried it both ways. It doesn't make any difference. The van still stalls. This, you might be wondering, is just a fuel change purge valve, basically. I just open this valve when I'm changing a filter or something, and that pushes all the fuel. My Raptor pump pushes all the fuel out here and back to the tank, and so that's what that is. But that's closed except for whenever I'm doing that, and that's just something I saw it at a junkyard and I always wanted to try it, so I did it. All of this stuff I've changed and tried eliminating. This problem hasn't gone away of stalling on veggie, so I don't think that is to blame. But that's the rundown of the veggie kit. Last summer is when the veggie started having problems, and the diesel started having problems at the same time. And since then, I came back from my trip last summer and I added this flat plate heat exchanger to replace the veg therm. I got all aluminum or stainless steel fittings to replace any brass fittings, and so with the exception of the things on the tank side of the filters in the back. So I think that the kit should be, the system should be set up pretty well right now. It's got problems though. Okay, that's all. Thanks.